Well, those are the headlines for you this hour here on France 24 and on our sister radio station, RFI. I'm Jeannie Godula. First, leaders from the European Union and Turkey are meeting today for new talks on the migrant crisis. One of their planned moves would include shutting down the Balkans route that's used by almost all migrants and refugees trying to reach Europe. Our Brussels correspondent Maeve McMahon told us more about the new measures.
The main focus of that summit today will be discouraging people to take that journey from Turkey to Greece to get into Europe via Greece. That will be the message we'll be hearing from Donald Tusk, the EU Council President, similar to the words he used in Athens the other day when he told what he believes were economic migrants that they weren't welcome in Europe, that they shouldn't take that journey and they shouldn't believe the smugglers. He'll also announce that the Western Balkan route will be closed and the wave-through approach will happen no more. He'll also look at the Prime Minister of Turkey, Ahmet Davutoglu, and tell him to implement the EU-Turkey action plan that was agreed upon last November. Those include points like stopping smugglers from travelling from Turkey to Greece, also better looking after the 2.7 million refugees that are in Turkey at the moment, and thirdly, speeding up the process of taking back economic migrants that are in Greece back over to Turkey. The Commission believes that 2,000 people are taking that journey each day, and they want that number to radically go down.
That's Maeve McMahon there reporting from Brussels. Well, in the meantime, there have been more migrant deaths at sea. Another 25 people drowned over the weekend, including 3 children. Officials say over 320 migrants and refugees have died in the past 2 months alone. Many of those who survived that journey are now stranded on Greece's border in Macedonia, where the conditions there are only getting worse. Well, the talks today in Brussels are meant to get Turkey on board with new moves that would stem the flow of the migrants. And for more on that now, I'm joined here on the set by political analyst Laurent Leylekian. You're the former director of the Euro-Armenian Federation for Justice and Democracy. Now, you have been very critical of Turkey in the past. What do you think about today's summit? Will a deal go through?
Well, in my opinion, the question today is not Turkey. This is the EU. What is the EU exactly? When you are not able to defend by yourself your border, and when you rely for your security on foreign countries, you have no any sovereignty anymore. So that the problem is what is EU, and as EU is very not unified, it could be a problem to bargain with Turkey.
But doesn't Turkey have a point? They've taken in so many refugees already, more than 2 million from Syria. Shouldn't Europe be doing more to help them?
Turkey is using refugees. Of course, they have this burden of many refugees, but they are also using them to enforce their position toward the EU. So about the 3 billion euros that have been promised by the EU, and also with this accession process that they will to launch.
What do you think? If there is no deal made with Turkey today, what should the EU do to try and stop this humanitarian crisis?
I think that the EU should put in place the requested structures to make the discrimination between the true refugees and the economic migrants. And the EU should not rely on Turkey for this. Turkey just want to pass all the migrants to the EU. So, and one can say maybe that the situation is one can maybe paraphrase Churchill. We have to choose between the migrants in Europe and the repression in Turkey. We choose the repression in Turkey, and we will have the migrants in Europe.
So what can be done then to fight the repression in Turkey?
Well, it's always a matter of surprise for me to see how we are mild with Turkey when compared to Syria, for instance. One can, for instance, take some very more strong measure against Erdogan and his gang. For instance, some financial repression measurement against his assets in Europe or things like this. Otherwise, we have no leverage on him.
So what would be the best way to have leverage on him? What needs to be done?
I think that we must support the democratic force in Turkey, because there are democratic forces in Turkey, and namely the ADP, the so-called Kurdish party, but it is no more a Kurdish party. This is a minority party. When I say minority, it encompasses not only the ethnic minorities, but the political minorities in Turkey also. The point is that this party and the ideology, the leftist ideology of this party is in conflict with the values of not the values but the political line of the EU. That's the problem.
All right, Mr. Leylekian, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming in to speak to us, Laurent Leylekian.